everyone. This is Off the Record podcast, and I'm your host, Navruz Karimov. We have a very special guest tonight, Carl Perry, a wrestler from USA, Division I national champion, and Nathan, the great Marquardt, an American mixed martial artist who has been fighting since 1999. Yeah, am I right? Nate is a three-time Pancrase middleweight champion and a Strikeforce welterweight champion and a UFC challenger. Carol and Nathan here in Dushanbe to exchange experience and provide assistance in development of the MMA scene. And you may have seen them on social media teaching youngsters how to keep their stance and deliver strikes. We hope Nate and his team with Karl will establish partnership with our local gyms to promote the future of MMA development in Tajikistan. Nathan and Karl, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you
for having us.
Let's start with you, Nathan. You are, for me, pure motivation. You came back to martial arts after the long break at the age of 40 with ambitions to become a champion. And then 2 years later, can you tell us if anything changed from 2021 and what are you focusing on right now?
Well, yeah, so we talked about it earlier, kind of before the podcast, but the reason I came back I didn't really want to fight again, because I retired in 2017, and my plan was to follow another path. But so I retired 2017. Then in 2018, I had a dream, and basically, I thought from the dream that God wanted me to fight again, and so in 2021, I believe 2021,
you came back.
I had 2 fights. It kind of showed me that it's not really the path God has for me, at least now. And so right now, I would say my path is what we're planning to do is we're going to move to Myanmar, which it's a country used to be called Burma.
Yeah.
Myanmar is between Thailand and India, and it has the longest running civil war currently. And there's a lot of people who are being killed in this war, and then there's a lot of children who are ending up being they don't have parents, they're orphans. And so our plan is to go over there and basically start a children's home. Actually, we're already involved with a current running children's home there, so we're going to start working there. But after we have opportunity, we're going to start our own, and after we get more children, we're going to start our own children's home. We're also going to be running a school there to teach the children, also other kids in the village or whatever.
Completely different from the MMA. Yeah.
Yes, but also I do believe that MMA is in my future, that God does have a plan with that. So part of that is going to be I do believe I will have a gym there, but it'll be part of the school, part of the children's home. And like currently with my kids, I do workouts with them every morning, so I would think I would do the same with the children at the home.
There is an interesting idea that a man has 2 fathers. One father is the biological one that the person didn't choose, and another one that teach him things in life, let's say. And can one compare the relationship of coach and athlete with the father and son relationship? And as you said, you want to help the children. How crucial is it to have a strong and meaningful ties with, let's say, sensei?
Yeah.
Yeah, and how does it affect performance and quality of life? And you also have kids. Do you see yourself also as a coach towards them? I really want to hear your opinion, guys.
Yeah, I mean, I for sure, like you were saying about coaches, our coaches or senseis or teachers, can they be a second father? 100%. I think a father is someone who ultimately represents God, because the Bible says that God is a father to the fatherless. So when we take care of people and we teach people and help people that are younger than us, when we teach them how to grow up, when we protect them, when we provide for them, when we teach them to grow up to be a man. Like if I have a boy and I'm teaching him how to be a man. What does it mean to be a man? He doesn't have to be biologically my child. So that's anyone that I spend time with, that I have influence with. So yeah, for sure, 100%.
Did you guys have this kind of ties with your coaches?
Yeah, do you know the definition of a coach?
All right, tell me.
The definition of a coach from the 1500s was a covered carriage that would take a person of importance from where they currently are to where they want to be. Let me say that again.
Wow.
So the definition of a coach from the 1500s is a covered carriage that would take a person of importance from where they currently are to where they want or need to go. And that's really what we see in the coach. I mean, there's a coach will influence more people in 1 year than the average person will in a lifetime.
Yeah.
The question then becomes for the coach is it good or bad? You know? And so you look at that kind of environment that he's going to be creating, where he's going, you know, they look at that and they say there's really 3 things that kids need to be successful. They need a belief system, a place to belong, and someone to believe in them. And that's where, you know, Nate's going to be able to provide that to those kids and as a coach. And that's what you see in coaches. That's what we want to see, you know, with coaches and how we want to continue to train coaches all over the world.
Yeah, but as athletes, I mean, did you have this kind of ties with your own coaches? Or because I know that sports really affect the life, and I want to understand how for the professional athletes, how do sports affect your life, and what's the role of the trainer? Because you guys are trainer right now.
Yeah, I mean, I know I did have a couple coaches that I did look up to in that way. And in some ways, they were like a good father figure, but in many ways, they were very bad, actually.
Oh, wow.
Just, you know, because of their moral values, what their worldview was. You know, but one of the guys was an atheist, so that, you know, that affects how you live and what you think is right and wrong, right? If you don't believe in God. And so for sure, I mean, like I think you mentioned that can be good or bad.
Right.
And so the world needs more fathers, but we need more good fathers. Unfortunately, there are many people who are father figures who should not be, right?
Like?
So, I mean, okay, take somebody like Conor McGregor.
Okay.
Right, he's like an idol, right? Kids look up to him, and they want to emulate him. What is it to be a man? It means to be prideful. Is pride a virtue, or is humility a virtue?
Yeah, it's pride. Virtue.
Right, pride is not good. So I mean that's a huge one for Conor, right? Obviously, or how he talks to other people. Is it a virtue to mock other people and things like that?
But he's very successful, and there's some things that you have to sacrifice, some things you do to become what McGregor did.
How about this? So you said he's very successful, right? That's another one of the things. So he views money and success, that's his God, right? So he's pointing kids to be like, look, you can chase after this success, this money, this dollar, fame, and it's all the same thing. It's like, if you're encouraging kids and discipling kids or training them, you're being a father, a figure to them, where you're saying, this is what's good. This is what life is about. Life is about being rich and, having women or showing up on yachts.
But why do people turn to the MMA? Why do people want to fight in UFC? Isn't it the fame, money, attention, all of that in mixed martial arts?
Yeah, but ultimately, how are you going to define success? And success that fulfills. Because if you're looking for fulfillment with money or women or those kind of things that is portrayed as successful, you're on dangerous territory.
Yeah, but I'm looking at the youngsters. So I'm pretty sure you also see this. There is no such desire. You can compare the desire to become a martial artist as to become chess player, for example. Because chess player is not surrounded with cameras all the time. And the whole fight is made just to make a huge and long marketing campaign on it. So if we're talking about the martial arts and motivation of people why did you guys go, for example, to wrestling and to jiu-jitsu and other stuff? And wasn't it also motivated by the money, for example?
So, no, I mean, I don't know if you know this, but when I started fighting, they weren't making anything. I thought it would be cool if I could ever make like $20,000 on one fight.
Really?
Or like $20,000 in a year even. I thought that would be really cool.
Okay.
Like I remember one of my first fights, it was a tournament. I fought 3 times in one night and I made $500 and I was like, oh wow. I didn't start it for the money. I started it for the love of the sport. Yeah, so I think that's for sure that's not a good motivating factor to be a fighter or I don't know.
And there's nothing wrong with money in itself. It's that when that's portrayed as our definition of success, that's the say all and do all. We're just cautioning that's dangerous ground, you know. And so, and then another thing is that they're the 1%er. You know, McGregor's the 1%er of what reality is compared to everybody else in the MMA or definitely the wrestling world. You know, caution of how you're defining success there is important.
And if you couldn't make it as an athlete, what would you be like? What would be your occupation like? Do you imagine life apart of the sports right now at the place that you are right now? What do you think?
You're saying if I couldn't coach, if you
in 1999, if you didn't start, or you started to become a fighter, but it didn't become your full-time career.
You're saying if I couldn't have been successful as a fighter.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I remember being as a kid, I always wanted to be an athlete for my profession.
Okay.
So I didn't care what sport really. I mean, I just happened to like fighting the most of all the sports. But if I could have been a soccer player, basketball player, I didn't really care. But I think that's just kind of how God's made me. You know that I love sports.
What about you, Carl? Carl.
I'd have been a basketball player.
Yeah, Carol.
I'm just kidding.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding.
What about you, Carol?
I would not have been Carol.
Yeah. So you actually been a basketball player?
No. I'm 5'6" doesn't do well as a basketball player. No, I don't know. I mean, it's all I've ever known since I was in grade school. So it's all I've ever done. My family did it.
All right. So it was embedded in your life from the childhood. So it's difficult, right? Because you have to you have to sacrifice a lot of stuff. Sometimes friends, alcohol, going out,
food, certain food, right?
Certain food, yeah. Like I can imagine my life without certain food. You know, I really like food. So like, how difficult is it to give up all these childhood pleasures to become is it going naturally, like, okay, I have the goal and I don't see any barrier to come there? Or is actually you have to pay some price to at least become to some level?
I think it's both. I think certain things were easy. It's like, okay, I want to be a champion and I know champions don't use drugs, right? So that was like simple. But so other things could be difficult. Like if I was going to a barbecue with friends and everyone's getting drunk, you know, that could be difficult because like I want to be part of the group, or even just people going out at night when I have to go train.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes I did feel like, oh man, I wish I could go, but I know that consistency and being disciplined in my sport, that's how you become a champion.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But look what you're talking about. This the idea of that you're gonna have to give something up to be successful, and this is what I love about sport is because there is sacrifice that's gonna have to take place in order to be successful, and and obviously being a champion is not guaranteed, and so it's to put myself in best position to be a champion, and yes, there's sacrifices, but is that not what's great about sport is teaching about life? If you're going to be successful in this podcast, you're going to have to sacrifice some things.
Yeah.
And that's reality, And so again, how sport is using a platform to grow people. I mean, if I'm going to be successful in my marriage, I'm going to have to sacrifice some things. If I'm going to be successful as a father, it's part of the deal if I'm going to run my own business, I got to be, there's sacrifice there. So it's a great avenue to teach and grow and mature. And, I always say that God used sport to change my life and, and that's how.
talking about the family, by the way, how does the sport and being center of the attention, being in the spotlight all the time, affect your marriage and your role as a fathers? I've never been an athlete and I've never been in the spotlight, and it's interesting to imagine, put myself in your shoes, and just think about if you have to balance between a happy marriage and happy career. You also have to sacrifice some things. 100%. And what you're gonna sacrifice there?
Yeah,
I can answer. For sure. I mean, that was a big problem in my marriage for the first 8 years. It didn't have to be, but I made it that way because in my heart, my sport became like a false idol, or, you know, like something that I was worshiping, right? So instead of God being the thing that I'm living my life for, I was living for my sport. So when I put myself first, is that going to cause problems with my marriage? Of course, right? Yeah. If you know, anything gets in the way of that, that's the thing that's going to get sacrificed to my God, right? Which is, at that point, was becoming my sport. Yeah, you want to answer?
Yeah, I mean, it's a priority thing. And there's give and take there. I think the reality, there's give and take there. And I struggled with it early and, you know, had to mature through that process. And that was a hard learning curve. You know, the big thing with my wife, and as we try to run our family, you know, is that we want to be on the same team. And there's times when I got to go, and there's times when she's got to go. And my wife has a PhD, so she's an absolute rock star. And
in what, by the way? PhD in what?
She's in speech pathology is her area of expertise. But her research, her area of expertise is in cleft palate in relation to speech.
Wow.
And so while she was in school, I was running. And so now she's a professor at a university, and so there's give and take there. Yeah. And so, and then we're raising 2 teenagers at the same time. And so it's a priority thing of saying, okay, we're going to be on the same team, and we're going to make this thing work. And you know, we're going to trust God, and we're going to give it the best shot that we possibly can.
So you've been here from Saturday, and I guess all these days you were hanging out in gyms, in local gyms.
Yeah, that's great.
So can you be our eyes and ears from our gyms and tell us what's going on there? And is there something you see that needs to be more work done, and maybe some things that our guys are doing actually good in MMA gyms, and maybe give some specific advice to our aspiring athletes? That would be nice.
I actually was very impressed. We've trained at now 3 gyms, 3 gyms, 4 different groups of people. And so first was our friend Bexot's gym. He has an excellent kids program there, kids program, and then we did a youth seminar for them as well. And you can tell the kids are very well trained, very disciplined. They listen well. They're able to, I mean, we did like a 3-hour seminar for both groups. So 6 hours total. And they were able to stay focused and, you know, do all the techniques. And I mean, that's hard for adults for 3 hours, you know, and the little kids were able to do it. So I was very impressed. And then we visited the UFC gym, which is what is it? Taj MMA or something? Is that how you say it? Taj MMA.
Yeah.
And, you know, that team was there, and I'm just looking at the team. I could see, I didn't get to spar with any of them or grapple, but I could see very high level.
Would you like to?
What's that?
Would you like to?
Yeah. I mean, we'll see.
So there is a possibility to, so you during the training to spar here in Dushanbe, because that's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. But yeah, I mean, I could see the guys were very high level, just MMA high level, whether it's grappling, wrestling, striking. They had some great coaches there. And so, I mean, I was very impressed overall. And then we just did a seminar out in, I don't even know what city it is, but it's, you know, it's in the rural areas, like an hour from here.
Okay.
I mean, those kids are their coach. They learn MMA, but their coach has a Kyokushin background, and just watching. I mean, there were 50 kids. Same thing. We did a 3-hour seminar with 50 kids, and same thing. They're just very disciplined. They listen the whole time. They're doing the drills. You're able to go around and help them, even though I don't speak, Tajik. They could understand when I would correct them. And I could say, yeah.
Sorry. That's nice. Did you learn any?
Yadu. And I
That's
say,
nice. A few more days, you're going to become Tajik, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
So fluent.
So let's talk about the regime and the food regime. How often do you break it? Like, there's cheat meals, I know, but is there a time like, okay, screw it, I'm going to eat qurutob now, for example?
I'll let Carl answer first.
Yeah, I mean, again, we always went in seasons, so for this part of our, depending on if we had to make weight and those kind of things. And so, but I think we always have our cheat meal, and that's great. And then there was times we were extremely disciplined in that, and so.
You never do this, you never go out from the plan.
No, I mean, the goal is to stay as disciplined as possible because I want to put myself in position to be a champion. It doesn't always happen, but in order to put myself in position, those are the sacrifices, and it becomes routine as well. So
yeah.
It's not as bad.
Can we break this regime now? Do we have qurutob here? Ruslan, can you bring the qurutob in? It's a national dish. That's served sometimes with meat, sometimes without. We have it with meat. Holy moly.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Let's go.
That looks great.
I really want your
thank you.
impression right now. Like, you don't wanna join?
Oh, we're supposed to use two?
Okay. Okay, it looks very good.
Yeah, it is.
So, do you like spices a lot or not?
I do, yes.
So you have
Yes.
first have this is called zanjabil.
Okay.
First bite it and then dig into the.
It's called what now?
Zanjabil.
You just grab it?
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
How pepper's hot.
Ooh.
Yeah. Really? Okay. Let's dig in.
All right.
Holy cow, that's hot.
Oh, wow. Look at this. What is this white stuff underneath?
It's qurutob.
Like yogurt-ish or something?
Sort of, yeah.
Wow.
That's good.
It is good. It's very good.
I'm going to drink some water.
Yeah. we like it very hot usually. Like
Wow.
burning hot. Why? Because you have usually big plates of food, and you want to finish it all. You not
Is yours
waste.
hotter than mine? Is yours hotter than mine?
I'm doing it right now.
I think you're just being a sissy.
I'm just telling you right now. That is hot.
Yeah, try one.
You're a little hotter than mine.
I'm telling you right now. That thing is hot.
Here, you love this.
No.
No, that one's not hot.
Whew. That's a freestyle. Oh, hey, by the way, this is hot. This is really very good.
Really
you like
good.
it?
It's amazing.
It reminds me of the American show called Hot Ones. Have anyone watched it?
What's it called?
Hot Ones.
Oh.
So they eat spicy chicken wings.
Yeah.
And then the interviewee is struggling, and
Whoa.
interviewer is like, "Okay, now let's talk about the career." It's like, "All right, give me a second." So, Carol, what is like? Okay, do you have kids?
I do have kids. Did I tell you that was hot? Yeah, I have a 17-year-old daughter and a 15-year-old son.
Oh, okay. Would you like any of them to become an athlete like you?
Well, they don't need to be like me. They can be like themselves, but they are athletes.
Already?
My 17-year-old daughter. Let me wipe this tear from my eye. My 17-year-old daughter is a basketball player, and she's a junior in high school. And then I have a 15-year-old son that's a wrestler and a soccer player.
All right.
Wow.
So do they want to become a professional athletes?
Yeah, I think the next step for them is to want to play at the university level, and so that's what they're putting themselves in position to be able to do right now.
Well, let's talk about this, like how this sports system works in your country. Like, I know people like brag about, not brag, this is the wrong word, but you got me.
Yeah, I got you.
That they're like, oh, I'm the best in my university, and then I was best in school. First of all, I was best in school, and I came back to university, and I realized I'm an average there.
Yeah.
Because from all the country, people coming to study in your university, right? And they're like, okay, and then you're becoming the best in university, which means you're one of the best in the country overall, right? So, like, the university promotes sports. Like, this is the very big thing in America.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they'll pay for you to go to school.
Yeah.
And scholarships and the opportunity to go get an education for free.
Yeah. So this is like very big thing, like
or
big
just to
thing
get an
to
education
become.
in general, not necessarily get it paid for, but yeah, it's an opportunity to go to college.
So this is the easiest way to become a professional athlete through university.
I would say it's the next step. It's not easy by any means, but it is the next step.
Okay.
And I'll tell you that's hot.
Do you want to try one more?
No, I'm good. Man.
Yeah. So I told you why we like hot, because you want to finish it after all. When your mouth is burning, you want to put something calming there, and this dry milk is something that's gonna calm your tongue after you eat sufficient amount of it. But this is a very good kurutop, guys. I'm really happy that you're trying this one.
Thank you.
Yeah, very good. Thank you.
Yeah, dig in, like, don't look at me, and we can continue conversation while eating it. And about the food, athletes know a lot about the chemistry and what chemistry they should consume. And can you tell us a little bit about the sport nutrition? Like, this is the type of food you would eat all the time, or how does it look like?
I mean, I know I had, I would say, maybe 3 different diets throughout my career.
Okay.
When early in my career, I never really had to cut weight until I fought at 170. So when I was fighting at 185, I would walk around at 192, and so weight was never an issue. I know a lot of guys that cut more weight, so they really have to diet hard. And when I, up until about 2011, I just ate what I thought was healthy. And so, I ate good food. I ate healthy, what I thought was healthy food. Then when I dropped down to 170, I had a dietitian who told me exactly what to eat. You had to plan out your calories and all this stuff. And I found, first of all, it was miserable. It made fighting very miserable. Yeah. And second, it actually messed up my hormones really bad, to where after I would fight, I would just be starving all the time. And I would eat, I'd be completely full. Like, my belly would actually hurt from eating so much food, and I still felt hungry. It's like that, whatever that hormone is that you produce when you're hungry, and it tells your brain, oh, I'm hungry. Like, I was overproducing that hormone because I'd been literally starving myself. Yeah. And so that was when I looked for an alternative to that kind of diet, and I came across what was called the bulletproof diet at that time, which is basically a low inflammation diet. I used that diet to fight, I think, 2 more times at 170, and then I went back up to 85. But I felt so good on the diet. I stayed on it. And when I call it a diet, like, some people might not think it's a diet because it's not based on calories. It's based on the quality of your food, and it's a high fat, low carb diet. So you can eat a ton of certain things like grass fed butter, or different fats that are actually good for your body, and things that many people think are healthy. We're actually staying away from those things. So, like, things that cause inflammation, like wheat, especially in America. I know the wheat in America is really high inflammation. It causes a lot of inflammation. And the reason I know this is true is because as soon as I go off the diet, my joints start hurting. So I do cheat on that diet when I go to places like Tajikistan. They have the bread on the side of the road. You got to try it.
Make your information.
No, this is good. This is totally on my diet, I think.
Yeah, how do you like English, by the way? I never asked you this question. Like, you've been here for 4 days already? 3-4 days?
How do we like it? Oh yeah, we love it. This is awesome.
Yeah. What did you see? What did you, aside the gym that you've been training all the time for 6 hours? Did you have a chance to travel?
Well, yeah. I mean, we went. What's the main road that?
Whatever the road is that goes to the palace that has all the lights. Or the
Rudaki.
has the tea house, right? Or the tea.
Now Kochinaurus, that's what you mean? Or Ochoekhanairo Hut? Like, there's a lot of tea
There's
houses.
actually, I don't know.
Yes.
Yes.
So there's one on the Rudaki Avenue that goes as Ochoekhanairo Hut.
It's a giant one, right?
It's a giant one, very old building. Have you been inside?
No, but we saw it from the outside. Like,
I don't know what kind of food they serve because I never ate that, but it's very beautiful inside. Like the ceilings, for example, extremely beautiful. They have these national patterns, in sort of psychedelic ones, you know, like from the Soviet Union remain. They wanted to destroy this building, and then we had activists who were fighting for it, and they were like, okay, it's still alive right now, but we don't know the future for it. I really recommend you, while you're still here, to check out this place and then go to Kochinaurus, which is on another street, which is very big, like a palacey building. It's written Kochinaurus, but it's in Cyrillic. I don't know if you will be able to find out. But just ask people around, and then you're going to love it there. Anything else you've seen, by the way? Or just this main street, Rudaki, and that's it?
I went to the place to eat, Osh. What was it?
Osh.
What was it called? Something Plav or... it was a traditional place.
Do we have plov house? Do we have plov house, guys? Because I'm not a very big fan of plov. Do we have? Yeah, we do. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it was great. I loved it.
Yeah.
That was my first day here. I had that.
And you straight up to Osh.
Yeah.
It's a very good cultural experience.
Yeah.
Your first day here. And qurutob is like, I would recommend qurutob first though. It's very good. Okay.
So in Rus, can you translate? We have one good word. We have to say, "Bani osh, nimsuat yombosh."
So there is a like idiom, or what do you call not idiom, there's a phrase, "Badi osh, nimsuat yombosh," which means after osh, you have to sleep for 30 minutes. But it's very, very bad translation.
Oh, that is funny.
Which is rhymes. You eat, so you have to chill. After osh, you have to chill for 30 minutes.
Oh, man.
You didn't do that?
Well, there's a funny story behind that because we were eating and we were in like a traditional booth that had curtains, you know, and all of a sudden we were eating, we hear someone snoring right next to us. We're like, what is going on? So I guess it's true. You're saying it.
They eat, they sleep. They're like, okay, we're gonna come, okay, to work. Really, yeah, we do that quite a lot of time. I'm sure there are some pitfalls in the MMA industry and in the wrestling industry that nobody talks about. And people, aspiring athletes who also want to become athletes, like, for example, you don't plan injuries when you're planning your career, right? No. So, very obvious stuff. Is there any like pitfalls that nobody told you before and you're like, damn, I wish I knew that before I was 30?
I don't know. How about you?
I think the biggest pitfall that I see, and I get a chance to work with a lot of the USA Olympic wrestlers and a lot of the coaches, and is that you strive and strive and strive, and you put all your hope in getting the gold medal, and then once you obtain it, okay, I obtained it. What's next? It doesn't. It doesn't fulfill you.
It's meaningless in a way.
You know, it becomes meaningless in a sense, but ultimately, it was the journey to get to that point. But when you put all your hope in a gold medal, it fades away. Another a guy's Olympic gold medalist in 2000, his name is Brandon Slay. He wrote a book called Greater Than Gold. It's a great book. And he talks about that. And I hear it a lot from Olympic champions that, man, I thought it was going to fulfill me. And it never did. Careful pitfall that if you put all your hope in trying to win a gold medal, and then what happens if you don't? You know, because I've seen a ton of athletes when I was coaching that
more probable to happen that way.
Yes, it's very, very high probable.
They break before they see their primes.
Yes, and so they did everything they possibly could do to be the champion, but it didn't. They got beat. It didn't happen, and so now everything falls apart because they put everything they had, their whole hope, And again, we should all thrive to be great.
The great.
Yes. That's why he's made the great.
Yeah.
No, that's not why.
Yeah, like, so obviously, like, you had this goal when you became a UFC challenger to earn the title.
Mm-hmm.
When there was a short falls on this path, like, there for sure were psychological issues, this pressure on your shoulders. Can you tell us, like, how does it feel, and is it something that most athletes feel, this kind of pressure, and how did you overcome it?
For sure. I mean, kind of along the lines of what Carl was just saying, I mean, I would say that is a pitfall. I would say it maybe a different way. The pitfall is that being successful or becoming a champ or whatever your goal is, it becomes your idol. It becomes who you are, what you worship, your identity, everything. And so that's a pitfall in of itself, even whether you get there or not, whether you become a champion or not.
Worth it to gain the whole world within yourself.
That's right. Yeah. And like you said, psychologically, what does that cause people to do? I mean, it causes all kinds of things, because when that's your identity, it can produce pride when you're successful, and it can produce, yeah. And it can, your whole world can crumble when you're not successful.
Yeah.
And you can become depressed. You can become fearful before competitions, like super anxiety, because, man, if it's so important and it's all up to me to win or lose, then that's so much pressure. Yeah. We were never meant to be, we were never created to worship the things that we do or worship the person we want to become. Right? So how I overcame it, well, I would say I truly turned to God, and he changed my heart. So through, turning to him, he did a miracle in me and changed my heart and took things out of my heart that I couldn't get out on my own. Anger, selfishness were maybe the two biggest things. And lust was another one, the third one. So, I mean, pride was there too, but the biggest one, anger and selfishness, he really transformed me, instantly. And that's a miracle. I tried for years to live the right way at home with my wife, and, sports and training and all these things, being disciplined, having, I had that self-control of an athlete, but it never took the anger out of my heart, and it never took the selfishness out. It actually probably made me more selfish, because then now it's all about my diet and my rest and my recovery and my training and this and that, right? So yeah, how I overcame it, I would say I didn't overcome it. God did it for me.
But during when you were actively fighting.
Yeah, this happened when I was actively fighting in 2013. Yeah.
This is the time actually when you were doing blogs.
Probably, yeah. Well, so maybe now you can see, you asked me earlier why I stopped, and I would say I had a new perspective on life, what life was about, what was important in life. And my blog didn't fit in that.
Like, if you, how long do you know Nate?
A year?
Yeah. I mean, I've known of Nate for a long time, just through a common friend.
Yeah.
Have you read his blog?
I have not.
He has a blog, like literal website.
Well, I mean, I still have it, and I still post occasionally.
Nate posts their podcast, but he also posts there his drawings and food,
drawings, paintings,
and kids, and everything. Like, he was actively like 300, 500 posts a year, 100 a month. We were like, it's very interesting. I mean, I imagine if you wouldn't be a fighter, like blogger 100%, and you suddenly stopped. So, like, how long do you draw? Is that your hobby? Do you still do that?
No, I feel like that I had that talent. When I was young, I liked to draw, but I never went to art school. Never. I mean, I probably since I graduated high school, or even during high school, less than 100 drawings / paintings total. It's just a God-given talent that I had that I never really pursued it. So I could have probably been a decent artist. And, I'm talking about like, somebody can look at my thing and be like, oh, wow, that's really good. And it is but not if someone's like a professional painter or artist, if somebody who's a true artist, I don't know.
But it's still very good. And Nate used to be also a big foodie, right?
A big foodie. Yeah, I would say I still am. It's just a different way now. Cause my wife and I used to eat out, before we had kids, we ate out almost every night of the week. Wow. And, that was like when I first was fighting in the UFC and I was running a gym and we were busy and, I was making enough money to do that. And then we did that for a short time because then I remember looking at our credit card bill for the year, how much I spent on restaurants. And I was like, oh no, this is going to stop. And then when we changed our diet, we were talking about it earlier, when I changed my diet, my wife had to learn how to cook and she became the artist. She's like a really good cook, excellent cook, chef. I don't know what you want to call it, but she is amazing. She cooks every week for the guys at the Bible study and they all love her. And really, she's really good at Asian dishes like tiki masala and Thai food and things like that.
Wow. So Indian cuisine is very rich in taste. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So imagine this qurutob, but they have 100 more spices in it. So this is like, okay, what's your favorite cuisine?
I'll let you go first. I just talked a lot.
I'm a meat and potatoes kind of person. So chicken, I'm pretty basic when it comes to that from my end of things. So give me a good burger and.
All right, very American.
Yes. Yes. Yep, kind of boring.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nate?
My favorite, I love all kinds of foods. For sure when it's quality, like this is very good. You can taste something when it's quality, when the chef is skilled, and when the food itself, the tomatoes or the meat is high quality.
Yeah. You should try shashlik here.
Shashlik?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will. We'll write that down.
I will say that my Armenian friend says that everything's the best in Armenia. The best food, the best this, the best that. We've been laughing that Tajikistan food is pretty good. So
we had some very good food.
So you were talking about, Nate, about when you were fighting for the UFC, and you were also training in Denver. Am I right? And then, so we have news here, and Nathaniel Wood is having fight against Muhammad Naimov, who is from Tajikistan, but he's, if I'm not wrong, training. He's affiliated with Elevation Fight Team, and this is the team that you are in. Can you tell us about this Elevation team?
Yeah, it's actually. Funny thing is, I was one of the founders. I would say I was the initial founder of Elevation Fight Team. The coaches of Elevation Fight Team were the guys that I chose as my coaches. So that was who.
So these guys still training athletes there? The guys.
So it was supposed to be, the concept that I came up with is different than what it is now. It was initially it was a team. It was supposed to be open to anybody. It was supposed to be like a team based on the team rather than a gym. So to kind of get rid of the political lines where some gyms don't want to train with this gym, things like that. It didn't quite work out because the coaches that I chose apparently had some things that I didn't know about. So, but actually one of the main coaches of Elevation Fight Team, Cody Donovan, is my black belt. He actually runs the school called High Altitude Martial Arts. That's my school. I sold it to him. So it was, when I was training there, I loved it. We had some great guys. The coaching was very good. And
so Naimov has some decent chances against this guy called named Wood. I know you're not following Naimov and Wood, but having heard from you that Elevation Team is something. When you were training there, Was it the time when you became a pancrase middleweight champion or strike force, or it was
No.
right after?
Let's see. I was training in 2012.
Yeah.
I was training. That's when I won the Strikeforce belt against Woodley, and I was training at Grudge Training Center, and that's when the split from Grudge, we formed Elevation Fight Team. Funny thing, you're talking about Muhammad. I moved 3 years ago. I moved to Florida. I've been training and helping some of the guys at a team. When I first started there, it was called Sanford MMA. In the past, it was called Black Zillions. Now it's called Killcliff Fight Club. It's the gym where Kamaru Usman trains, Michael Chandler, Anthony Johnson was there, Tyrone Spong trained there. So there's quite a few, I mean, way more than that, big name fighters that train there. Ong Lan Song, the one championship champion.
It was great school.
Loic trains there. Actually, I met him. I trained with him his first week when he came to Florida, and was one of his daily training partners for I don't know, several months when he first came, and then my training changed a little bit, so he found some other guys. But Loic, I can't pronounce his. I can't remember his last name. How do you say it? Loic.
Guys, back me up here.
Oh yeah, sorry, my bad. You're like, I don't know. So look, say again.
No, wait.
It starts with an R. Rabastav or
Yeah, I think it's a Rajabov.
Rabajov. Say again.
The Tajik tank.
Yes.
Yeah, Rajabov.
Tajik 10. So Tajik man, right?
Tajik tank.
Tajik.
Tank, which is
Tank. Oh.
Tank. So, as an athlete and as a people, yeah. Do you have any effective techniques that you can recommend to set yourself to success in a broader sense and in the sense of the competition sports, so we can summarize it in a fashion way?
I think Carl, I've heard his answer for this one. I'm going to let him lead.
Yeah. Well, ultimately, preparation equals freedom. And so what I mean by that is the idea of being prepared should ultimately cancel out anxiety, fear, doubt, if our goal is to put ourselves in position to be great. And preparation's got to give us that freedom. I think that applies in sport. And I think that, again, what I love about sport is that there's direct correlation between real life. I mean, the attributes and the things and the characteristics you learn through sport directly apply. And so, man, as I prepared to wrestle in front of 18,000 people on TV on this raised platform stage to win a championship, the preparation was there. So I did everything I possibly could do that I could control. And if I win and won, I lose. But I did everything I can do to prepare. So it gave me freedom to go and compete. Well, the same thing holds true in life, right? It's kind of like that. My job's the input and God's job's the outcome. And my job, I have a responsibility to step up and take care of things that I can control, the preparation side of things. Yeah. And in my own faith in God, as I prepare and I dig into the Bible and I can study the Bible, man, it gives me freedom in that God promises us freedom in that way. As a husband, the same thing to be true. As the preparation that takes place to be a good husband or a good father. And so
a very stoic approach, taking control of, taking care of what you can control.
It's the only thing we can do.
Yeah.
It's a simple concept, but
yeah, it's very practical and very powerful. What do you think, Nate?
I mean, I would agree wholeheartedly with what he said. I would phrase it differently. I would say discipline. So I would say there's two main things. You have your discipline, self-discipline, and doing everything that it takes. Training every day, being consistent, being focused, and staying away from bad things that are going to hurt you, any temptation, and then like ultimately you trust in God because he can raise one up and put down another, and it's not in my control win or lose. I can control how I perform and how I prepare, but I can't control the outcome. And when you do that, when you put your trust in God, you actually eliminate fear as well. That's one of the just byproducts of trusting God, is that you know, the fear of, because what do you fear? I mean, you did everything you can do, and whether I win or lose, it's, you know, it's in God's control. So
Fascinating.
yeah.
Thank you, Nate and Carl.
Yeah.
Coming here.
Thank you,
It was
Noah.
very pleasant to talk to you. Yeah, I think we should stop here.